but there were six of us growing up. You know, we all had to share rooms early on, so it wasn't conducive to any kind of schoolwork or studying. I didn't really have any role models that had been to university or college or even had any aspirations to have a career, really, to be honest. But I always had this love of writing, love of reading, and really a longing to get out of the situation that I was in. I wanted more somehow. I can't really explain it, but it was very much an intrinsic motivation. I had a few teachers who noticed me and got me, and with a lot of the other teachers I was just seen as a very difficult pupil to teach, very defiant, and I think a lot of that was because I'd lost my sense of identity. I felt I didn't belong. I didn't know who I was, so I wasn't somebody who, you know, was from a middle class household who went to the theatre, you know, and played a musical instrument and did all these sports, had a horse, so I wasn't somebody who felt like I could be academic. I didn't feel like it was part of who I was and who my background was. And on the estate, you know, academia doesn't give you credence, does it? You know, if you're one of the naughty kids on the estate, you know, you're a G, you're okay, you're one of us. So I was stuck between this kind of two dichotomies, really, that I just didn't belong to any of them. And I recognise that now a lot in some of the students that I teach. It's about being aspirational and trying to persuade them that actually, no, you do belong. It's okay. I mean, a few years ago, I was studying the play A Taste of Honey, which is one of my particular favourites. And I had quite a difficult, challenging class, lots of boys in it who didn't really like reading, didn't like anything to do with English. But they liked me because they saw me as one of them. So it was okay. And I took them to the theatre to see A Taste of Honey, and they were so kind of uncomfortable when they arrived in their jogging bottoms, you know, and their hoods, and they loved it, absolutely loved it. And afterwards, that, you know, I'd created the kind of inclusive environment in my classroom and outside it, really, where that they felt empowered to be able to say that they enjoyed it and didn't think it was going to be a stigma on them because they were no longer hard and they were no longer, you know, one of the boys. And actually having that relationship with the parent at home and telling them that, you know, we are a three-way team, and if the parents feel empowered to ask the students about what was going on at school and to getting more involved in their education, I think there is that sense of belonging. I think that they then feel that they can go home and talk about their education and be encouraged. You know, a lot of the time it's not this tense, fraught relationship that people think it is. I think we need to open the door more to working class parents, get them more involved in their child's schooling, and I think that very much makes them belong more. I think it's very difficult, isn't it, because we work in a system in England where we are governed centrally, you know, and things like the national curriculum, they are so archaic, and they are designed for middle class values, essentially, the national curriculum. And, you know, we expect all students to be able to come in with a clean slate every day and to learn things that are roughly the same things they've been learning for the last 50 or 60 years. It's almost as if time has stood still in that respect. I think as schools, we need to be more emotionally aware of the barriers that there are to learning for children who grow up in poverty. I think, alas, from what I've seen in my experience in the last sort of 12, 13 years of teaching, a lot of SLT and heads who are running schools, etc., might not have had any experience of growing up in these backgrounds. So it's not the kind of, although they have, I suppose, a surface understanding of what those children's lives are like, and they're trying their best, because I think heads have been incredible. Somebody aspires to university from no matter what background, you know, and they should be able to go, but there are other options. And I think sometimes, especially the working class boys that I've worked with, they're frustrated because all they're peddled at school is this ideology of going to do A-levels and going to university. And for a lot of those kids, the worst thing they can possibly imagine is sitting down in a classroom for the next 5 years and writing. And I think it's about giving them, you know, access to role models who've done things that are more practical and vocational, but also access to role models who also have been to university and gone against the odds and done well as well. And it's absolutely making what they are learning relevant to them, and instilling this self-belief through this holistic approach, you know, as an educator, and having those relationships with the kids and making them believe in themselves, and using your own analogies, I think, and examples of what you've done as well, becoming a human, not just an educator.